During the history of Beyblade, many unique and interesting gimmicks have been integrated into Beyblades. One of the most notable and iconic gimmick is the rubber gimmick. Being used since the original Beyblade series with rubber performance tips and later implemented into layers with El Drago and Fafnir, rubber has always appeared in Beyblade generations. That doesn't change with beybladex, as we recently got the release of Impact Drake, featuring rubber on the blade. Rubber has also made its way into bits with rubber axle. However, rubber has been in some controversy as to whether or not it's effective or not. In this video, I will discuss the rubber gimmicks of Impact Drake and rubber axle and whether or not it's an effective gimmick or not. Before discussing rubber in Beyblade X, let's go back a few years into the Beyblade Burst generation. The first instances of rubber in Beyblade Burst were the rubber drivers, the first being Extreme. Extreme was an extremely good driver competitively as it was super fast and hard to knock out due to the rubber grip. The rubber for Extreme is fairly soft, meant to grip onto the stadium and deliver hard hits. This is paralleled with Variable, which features rubber, but a lot harder than Extreme. The hard rubber used in the Variable driver is hard rubber, which increases the speed of the Beyblade tremendously with the cost of being less controlled. The Variable driver wasn't really used much competitively compared to Extreme due to its chaotic nature. Going back to Beyblade X, rubber axle is the first Beyblade X bit to feature the rubber gimmick. From what I have heard, the rubber hardness is the same as Extreme, so softer rubber to grip onto the stadium. Rubber axle suffers from stamina drainage as the high speed only is effective at the start of the battle, but loses lots of spin the longer the battle lasts. That is why most bladers still would prefer to use plastic bits for the increase in stamina. Although I have an idea how to make rubber bits better. The first mistake TT did was to base the bit on axle. Axle is a fast bit, but unreliable, so it would have been better to base the rubber bit on either flat or rush. Another thing to point at is that rubber axle is a fully flat bit instead of a whole flat like the original axle. This flatter shape makes the bit more aggressive with the cost of less stamina, so if they implemented the whole flat shape, it could have had a bit more stamina. Another problem is that the tip is too wide, which also decreases stamina. If the surface area of the bit was reduced, it would provide more stamina. Ideally, I would like it if the bit was similar in shape to rubber flat from Metal Fight or the Quick Dash driver from Burst. My final adjustment is to change the rubber hardness to be more like the Variable driver with harder rubber. The plastic-like hard rubber would increase the speed of the bit, giving bladers a reason to use the rubber bit instead of plastic. I also think TT should make more rubber bits for different types, like I would love to see a rubber Unite or a rubber ball, as rubber can be used in other ways than just attack. That's all my suggestions on how to make a better rubber bit. So let's now move on to rubber blades. Going back in time again, rubber on blades have most notably been used for spin stealing capabilities. The most iconic Beyblade to do this is Medio El Drago. The rubber on the El Drago 2 clear wheel uses soft rubber in order to absorb impacts from other bays, allowing it to increase its own spin. However, there is one more secret to spin stealing that some people forget, and that is shape. The shape of the blade is just as important, as that would be the main reason for spin equalization, and the rubber just helps the already round shape. Going forward to Beyblade Burst, the first instance of using rubber for attack is on Judgment Joker. The Judgment Joker layer uses rubber as its main contact points, as well as a burst stopper intended to hit hard attacks. Judgment was very good competitively for its huge attack power, but that's mostly due to its aggressive shape rather than the rubber blades. Later on in Beyblade Burst, many other layers would begin to implement rubber into the blade, and rubber has become a side gimmick rather than something unique. However, the rubber used in these blades was useless most of the time, as the reason why these blades would be good is because of shape, like Savior and Ultimate Valkyrie, where it was most effective when rubber was worn. In Beyblade X, Impact Drake incorporates a unique rubber gimmick. The rubber on the blade is made of hard rubber, but it's not extremely rigid, as it's slightly softer than the rubber found on Ultimate Valkyrie. This difference in rubber hardness significantly impacts the blade's overall performance. When considering whether the rubber is beneficial for Impact Drake, the answer is, unfortunately, no. The inclusion of rubber on the blade adversely affects Impact Drake's stamina, as the Bey loses a considerable amount of energy whenever the rubber makes contact with the stadium or the opponent. The only potential advantage of this rubber gimmick lies in its ability to occasionally create recoil. In rare cases, the recoil from the rubber can transfer from Impact Drake's blade to the opponent, disrupting their performance. However, this benefit is highly situational and inconsistent, making it an unreliable feature. Thankfully, the shape and weight distribution of the Drake blade compensates for this shortcoming, ensuring that Impact Drake remains a top-tier blade despite the rubber's drawbacks. To summarize the video, rubber has long been an iconic gimmick in the Beyblade series, now making its debut in Beyblade X. Rubber can be an effective addition if implemented effectively. For example, hard rubber is ideal for attack bits, while softer rubber is better suited for defensive bits. However, when applied to blades, rubber is only useful for spin-stealing designs. Using rubber for attack-oriented blades like Impact Drake often proves to be either ineffective or detrimental. As such, it's unlikely that we will see many other blades featuring rubber in Beyblade X, except for potential spin-stealing designs, such as a new Dragoon. That's all I have for this video. It would be appreciated to like and subscribe, as I hope to reach 10K subs by the end of the year. I also have membership options for more support, and I will see you all next time.